Alright, on to topic number 2. YouTube cracking down on the swearing? Yeah, apparently. Apparently. Now, I first heard about this thanks to Double Toasted. Shout out to them. But also, I haven't watched all of it yet, but it seems Angry Joe touched upon it as well at the beginning, and will probably touch upon it more on the AGS News video they put out. The first one of the year. And I think it's the first one of the year. I'm not really sure. But anyway, yeah, YouTube seems to be cracking down on the swearing. The reason being is Google is a publicly traded company. We know that. And as we all know, when a company that used to not be so public goes public, a lot of things have to change over time. Especially you have certain investors and sponsors and all that. And it seems YouTube/Google is following in those footsteps of cracking down on things that we used to be able to do. And how are they cracking down on it? Well, doing to many YouTubers out there, like myself, like Double Toasted, like Angry Joe, and others, AVGN, they're cracking down on the swearing. They're cracking down on the swearing by demonetizing any videos that have it. And this is something that I don't honestly think is going to last long. And the reason I say that is because even though you can understand that YouTube and whoever made this decision has potentially good intentions, because they know that, everybody, including kids who are not supposed to be watching videos that are not meant for them, do end up watching them. Even though they may have true, good intentions, what they're doing is taking away freedom of speech. And that freedom of speech, is something that made YouTube very popular. I mean, remember, YouTube has gone through a lot. A lot of the YouTube content creators have fought all these different decisions out there that were going to be made to change the outlook of how you do videos here on YouTube or other platforms. I mean, who could forget the Actica, ACTA, or the other things that were out there. They were trying to change the outlook of sites like YouTube and how you produce content. And now it seems that Google and YouTube have decided to go in a direction that's not very popular. It's not very fond of, it's not smiled upon by a lot of people. It's actually frowned upon. Because there are a lot of YouTube content creators out there that swear. They do swear a lot in their videos. Like I said, Angry Joe, he's known for swearing a lot in his reviews. And his AGS News and movie reviews and all that. And now he's got to cut that down to, instead of saying, what the, F, he's got to say, what the heck? Or something like that. He's got to cut it down. Same with James Rolfe. Same with Doug Walker. Their personas, even outside of their personas, they swear. They do drop F-bombs, S-bombs, A-bombs, if you will. They drop them. But now they got to be careful. They got to be totally careful. Essentially, what they got to do, what YouTube is doing to a lot of content creators is they're saying, look, we don't mind if you kind of get mature in what you're talking about, but watch the language. I mean, it's kind of funny because I was watching a video that James Rolfe put out. It was one of his editorial videos that he does on the side. And he was talking about how, essentially R-rated movies get censored when they're on broadcast television. And how certain words are either just bleeped out entirely or basically they're not just bleeped out entirely, but they're changed up. You have either the same actor or actress come back and maybe go in studio and re-record the line to fit television, or you have someone completely different that doesn't sound like the actor or actress come in and record the line to make it fit suitable for television, or the words just bleeped out. I mean, one of the videos I watched, it was a technological thing or something like that. Well, they talked about this device that was advertised on television long ago. It was one of those devices that, was the as seen on TV advertisements that gets like a paid program once in a while to truly advertise it. Well, basically, this device would, censor out any words on your television. They would. Even through VHS, maybe Laserdisc, I should say. But yeah, either through cable itself, broadcast television itself, VHS, Laserdisc, or even DVD to an extent, they would basically cut out the word. Like if you're watching a movie on HBO back in the day and you had this device hooked up, but you wanted to watch this with your entire family because you felt, hey, with the exception of these, swear words, it's a good movie for everybody to watch. Basically, what this device would do is it would cut out that word. It would mute it out or something. Oh, you would see it on the caption, but you wouldn't hear it. Or something like that. And that's kind of, and going back to what James said in his video, how broadcast television would do what they did, that kind of feels like what YouTube's doing here. Because when you look at the captions, and this is something that I don't know if anybody brought up. I'm not sure if Angry Joe's going to bring it up or not. But if you look at the captions, when you swear, even the smallest of swear words, if you swear on your video, true, it won't get blocked out. True, it won't get bleeped out or muted out. No. Instead, it will be blanked out in the captions. Like you could say, what the, and instead of it saying down there the word, it's going to say, what the blank. It's not going to have anything there. The only way around that is if you put in the captions yourself. You find a way to work that caption system to put them in yourself. And that's about it. But even that, I think, is probably going to be changing too, to the point that when you type in that word, because it coincides, with what you're saying in the video, it'll get blanked out. I think that's where they're heading. But why are they cracking down on it, is the question. And again, I think Double Toasted kind of said it best. It's one of those situations where they're going to make updated changes without us knowing. And that's pretty much it. They're doing updated changes without us knowing. And because we don't know that they're making these changes, it comes as a surprise to a lot of us. It really does. But like I said, I don't think it's going to last forever. I think what's going to happen is there's going to be enough of an uproar, enough of a, I guess you could say, petitioning, wielding support to have Google change this and say, okay, look, we'll let you swear, but there are certain words you could use, but if you use other words, we'll bleep them out. That to me would be the essential compromise. Like you could use the S word, you can use the D word, you could use the A word, and those are fine. But if you go with the F word, no matter how you put it, we'll bleep that out. That's the compromise. That's the compromise, in my opinion, that I think should happen, maybe will happen. Because again, you're going to have a lot of people being like, why? We're just talking. It's freedom of speech. Why would you take this away? And again, I think it's basically the fact that whoever's doing this is looking at the fact that, hey, they might have an option where you could, say, hey, my video is for kids or it's not for kids. Maybe that person's realizing that it's not going to matter if you label it for kids or not for kids. Kids are still going to watch, which is why I think they're cracking down. But again, I don't think it's going to last. I really don't. And what this is going to end up doing is not only come to a situation where we will get a compromise eventually that's going to allow the swear words back, except for maybe a certain big one, if you will. But also what it's going to probably end up doing is having YouTube change things around to where when you say it's not for kids, then basically what's going to happen, in my opinion, is they're going to come out and they're going to have this little age thing show up, and they're going to ask the person watching the video, put in the date you were born. And kids, they might be innocent enough, maybe not, but kids might be innocent enough to be like, okay, I'll put in the day I was born, not realizing it's gonna not give them access. Because what something like that will do is say, too young, you don't have access to this. That's where I think it's heading. That's why I think it's heading to where we're going to get a compromise, and also a situation that may or may not work, to where you have to put the age in of who's watching the video, whether they're a guest or they have a username. Because once you put that age in, it will make sure to filter out the videos that are not meant for them, and put videos on there that are meant for them, or something like that. But yeah, YouTube is cracking down on the swearing, but like I said, I don't think it's going to last. They're either going to, compromise with everybody and say, okay, look, you could say certain words up to a certain word, and then that's it. Because if you say that certain word, not only will we blank it out in the captions, we'll blank it out in the video, we'll mute it, just like they do with certain music that can't be used. When they give you that option to mute out certain music, or they automatically do it, it's going to lead into one of those kind of situations. Or what's going to happen is there's going to be enough of a rally cry to where Google/YouTube will be like, okay, maybe we took it too far, we'll let you swear again, we'll monetize you again, but please do us a favor and limit it. Like they'll say, look, we'll give you all this back, but please make sure your videos don't have so much swearing. Like they might say, hey, please try to condense it to, let's say, 25% swearing or something, or 50% swearing, and that's it. And that might be what happens. We don't know. But yeah, they're cracking down on the swearing. But again, I don't think it's going to last, because some of the things that I mentioned potentially happening as a result. Content creators coming up and doing an uproar, petitioning, a compromise being made, something, maybe even an age restriction thing coming up, to where whoever goes on there, with an account, if they are a kid or a teen, if they're under a certain age of like 18, basically, they can't get to certain content. So we'll see what occurs, as time goes on. But yeah, if nothing does happen, it's going to be hard for a lot of YouTubers, content creators like Angry Joe, Joe Vargas, Nostalgia Critic Doug Walker, James Wolf, the Angry Video Game Nerd, Chris Bores, Irate Gamer, and so on. Even Shane Lewis, if you will, over at Rerez, it's going to be hard for them not to want to, swear up a storm when they feel like it. When they want to rant or something like that. They're going to have to train themselves to be like, okay, I want to say this, but because I don't want to lose monetization, what other word can I say? And again, that's if nothing happens in the near future, but I think something will. I think a negative reaction to YouTube and Google making this decision is going to basically make them realize, okay, maybe we made a mistake. Let's compromise, see what we can do. And I think some of the compromises I brought up, and possible reactions to a compromise is afterwards, I think is on the horizon of potentially happening. But what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments and in the live chat during the premiere of this. And now on to topic number 3.